time blindness when we start.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 3 p.m. live at 4:10. Just in case you don't follow me on the socials, my name's Heidi Maver, and I experience extreme time blindness, which today impacted me by being somewhere on the other side of Wakefield that takes me half an hour to get back from, that I didn't leave to get back to until 15 minutes before the thing I had to be back for. And then I got stuck in traffic. And then I messaged Sharon and said, let's do it a little bit later. And then Sharon said, I can do now. And then in the meantime, I got on a call with someone else. So, and we're riding it. And thankfully, Sharon is one of my intimate cohort members. So she knows that this is the shit I do all the time.
Yeah.
And she knows it doesn't mean I'm not reliable. And it doesn't mean that I intend to offend her by not being on time for things. It means I'm neurodivergent as heck, and she kindly allows me, bless her heart.
It's fine. It's same in our house.
If you're watching live, just drop me a hello in the comments. If you've been waiting since 3 o'clock, I am very sorry, and I hope you understand. And genuinely, I am sorry. The intention was there. I failed. I know that intention doesn't reduce impact. I am sorry. I will be beating myself up about it later on. But for now, we've got some conversation to have. So we've been chatting with various people as part of my Lightbulb Moments series. And my Lightbulb Moments series is 20-minute chats with people who are usually people who are late identified or late diagnosed neurodivergent adults. And we've been talking about their light bulb moment during that process. And for those of you who follow me, or maybe those of you who don't, you may not know this, but our signature program, which we run once a year, which is called NeuroCurious, starts on the 21st of September. And it's a 12-week program that we run for adults who want to get curious about their neurotype. Lots of people who jump on the program are parents of neurodivergent kids who during the process have done what Sharon and I both did, which is like, ooh, maybe I'm one of them. Maybe I'm that flavor. So Sharon has done NeuroCurious. She was in our original inaugural intake last year. And she's also a valued member of our ongoing Unstoppable Parent and Camp Curious communities. She lives not far from me. We've met in real life. I know. We've shared a teaspoon. So I've asked Sharon to come and share some of her insights from being part of the program. If you want to know more about NeuroCurious, there is a link above, and we will also drop it in the comments, and it will be in the roundy uppy bit, and I'll get Sharon to pop it in as well after we finish. Elaine has joined us because Facebook reminded her. Amazing. Hurrah. So Sharon, before we jump into it, just give us a bit of a top line. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
Okay. So yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sharon, as it says on the screen. It gives it away a bit. Pronouns are she, her. I forgot to put those on. I always forget. I do apologise. I live in a small village called Shroron in Elmet, which is not far away from Heidi. Although we didn't meet near Heidi, we met in York, which is not near either of us.
Not near either of us.
No, it was really weird. It was lovely.
I drove pretty much past your house to get to it.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, it was. Yeah, for a living, I'm an actor and a film producer, which is so much fun and feeds into my dopamine so much. It's great. I love it. But yeah, late identified. Totally. Can't get much later. I know I don't look my age, but I love that part of it.
Tell everyone how old you are so we can all go, oh, no, and clutch our pearls.
Yeah, I'm 55.
Really?
I am, yeah. I am really, yeah.
That is a genuine pearl clutch.
Yeah.
I thought you were younger than me.
No. My eldest is 36.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got grandchildren.
Look at us proper old ladies.
I know, we're really old ladies, yeah. I don't feel it unless it's a morning and body does
your knees feel it. How long have you been identifying or recognizing that you're neurodivergent for that? Like, so
not long.
Within the past 12 months?
Yeah, probably. When, Camp Curious was probably the first bit, and then NeuroCurious when started really looking into it. And I was like, ooh, yeah, that was light bulb time, wasn't it?
Okay, so you're like me then, like 50 years of not knowing this really quite big thing about yourself.
Yeah.
So you live in Sherburn in Elm. Oh, there.
Yeah. Or Sherbety helmet, as some people call it.
Helmet. And who do
I
you
know, right?
And who do you share your home with? Talk to me about your family a little bit.
I've got hubby here, who we always thought was the weird one in the house.
You were one of those women who thought their husband was the neurodivergent one, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
A lot of
absolutely.
them.
I'm still not sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like
yeah.
neurodivergent people match with neurodivergent people.
Yeah. I've got Isabel, who's my 17-year-old, and then Michael, who's 14-year-old.
Amazing.
And it turns out that us three, not including my husband, when we did all the online test things, that we came out with like really high scores, and he came out with 28, and I think he's lying.
Heavily masked.
Heavily.
So you came on the first Neurocurious cohort last year, which we ran from September. You were the guinea pigs, you lot, weren't you?
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
Finding our feet.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do it?
I'd done the Camp Curious bit, and I was like, that's given me a little bit, but I need to know more.
Yeah.
And when you said that this was like a real deep dive into it, into like finding out about yourself and your neurodiversity and all that sort of stuff, I was like, I need to do this. Because to be able to help, my youngest 14-year-old, he has barriers to attendance and has had those for probably the past 5 years, and we're slowly heading out of burnout at the minute. But I thought, to help him, I need to know more. And being the typical, hyper focus, went deep dive into finding all things ADHD and autism.
You heard the word deep dive. You're like, sign me up.
Yes, where do I sign?
We're going to nerd out about brain science. Excellent.
Yes.
My money.
Yeah.
I know that you had lots of realizations during the course, but would you share like your light bulb moment? Like if you can put your finger on a couple of things or one moment where you were like, oh, it's a game changer.
Yeah. I was looking back through the notes and things and reading what my own scribble of notes and everything. And I was looking through and I was like, boundaries was a massive one, because I'm a people pleaser. So it's like, oh, can you just, yes, of course you can. Where am I on that list of priorities? Oh, somewhere down the bottom, and things. I've had to put boundaries in place when it comes to my disability, which again was another really hard boundary to do, because like a lot of us, you go, am I really disabled? Am I disabled enough?
Yeah.
And I know you've been there because, I've seen your lives and stuff that you've done with getting the mobility scooter. And I'm the same of like, I used a wheelchair the other week when we went to Yorkshire Wildlife Park. I had to share it because they only had 3 and we got the last one. So I had to share it with Michael. But
because you have Ehlers Danlos, yes?
Yes,
right?
I have. Yeah. And so does Michael. So yeah.
Yeah. And so that, for the people who don't know, that manifests itself with a lot of pain, high levels of fatigue, big flare-ups as well, isn't it? And like can really
and it's not always because I've done something or the day after I've done something. It can be a couple of days later, or it can just suddenly I can just suddenly get up and I'm like, no, I'm having this is a bed day. I'm so I'm actually really good. Most people get used to seeing me on the bed when we do our Zooms and stuff, and it's not because I have to be here, but it does have its advantages.
I do my best work under my duvet.
Yeah. In this weather.
No, it's hot. Get off me. But I think one of the things about Neurocurious that we were really keen on from the beginning, and I know that lots of the people in the cohort last year embraced this, was show up as you are, camera on, camera off, in bed, dressed, it don't matter so long as you're keeping yourself, covered wherever you need to. And when we didn't do that, when we didn't require for people to kind of like put the bra on, put the makeup on, be upright, it just gave all of us a lot more freedom to.
It absolutely did. And it's strange because I go on other Zooms and I've started being like that on other Zooms. If like people say, oh, I need to go and eat my tea, I'm like, just bring it on. Just sit and eat your tea. I don't care. We don't mind, because we have our acting classes online. So we use Visio every week for that one. And the coach is always in the background having his tea because that's when he needs to eat. Somebody else was like, "Oh, I can't come on because I'm having my tea."
Mm-hmm.
Like, get yourself in. We don't care. We really don't. We're in the farting zone.
In the farting zone, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, in Unstoppable Parent, we talk about the farting zone, which is the place where you can genuinely be yourself and let one go if you need to, and no one will disown you. The next one out from that is the polite zone, and you wouldn't drop one then. So, but yeah, the neurocurious is definitely the farting zone, definitely.
Oh, God, yeah.
So that realization, those moments, like, can you talk me through when you had that, like, oh, like, you don't have to say specifically what led to it, but what did that look like for you? Because you came in thinking, maybe I'm neurodivergent. I like spending time with these people. I want to be in community with people. I want to be live with people every week. I'm really interested in brain stuff. And then in and amongst that, you had this moment or this realization.
It was as we were going through week after week and doing certain things, and as I say, the boundaries was one, but just the being yourself. And it was I'm trying to remember back, it was one of the first few weeks, one of the things, I think one of the sessions that we had with Kate, where she was going through not just the traits, but like how you mask. I think that was a big one for me, was realizing that for 50 odd years, I've masked terribly.
Well, it's like not a coincidence that you've made a career out of pretending to be other people, right?
No, it's not really, is it? No, it took me till 47 to work that one out.
Yeah, I always think that's so interesting.
Yeah,
because we talk a lot in Neurocurious about identity and what that means. And one of the things we talk about in Neurocurious is, like, this thing of people say just be yourself, but then they go, but not like that.
Yes.
And how was that for you? Because you were with people who you might have met through the community before, but it's quite a small cohort and people are sharing quite intimately. How was that for you?
As an oversharer, that was fine. Because it was like, yeah, just go for it.
Oversharers welcome, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, I think the hardest thing that I've noticed that I do is I have a really bad trait of talking over people. Or, we get that idea, you want to say it straight away. And that's something that as a child, it was, I was always told off for talking too much. And so I hid that a lot, where I didn't feel safe. And I was like, can I? And then there was somebody else in who was really talkative, and it was like trying to get a word in edgeways. And you were just like so accepting. That was the thing. The whole group, for anybody who's in there, it is just so accepting. You turn up, like you said, you turn up as yourself, and that was great because really, I think the only other time that people used to see me as me in my younger years was when I'd been out drinking. I was so loud. I was the party animal.
Yeah, unmasked to me is like on the side of 2 bottles of red wine, basically.
Yeah. Give me a few vodka Red Bulls and
we laugh. It's not really funny, but it's very true.
It was. It was at the time, but yeah. I think the last time I did that, it was my 40th. And
last time I did that was last Thursday.
Last Thursday. Okay. No, I don't mean the drinking, but I mean actually out clubbing and stuff.
Oh, right.
I went out. Yeah, went out with my eldest for my 40th night clubbing.
And what can you put your finger on things that you now do differently on the back of your neurocurious experience? Elle said I was one of the other chatty interrupters.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that. It was just like, somebody else does that. It was this thing of seeing you're not just the only one, because all my life I'd been growing up going, stop talking. Why are you talking so much? Why are you so loud? That was one. Oh, you're so loud, Sharon, when you're talking. And now
when I was a kid, people, my nickname as a child was Foghorn. Because I don't have an inside voice, and I also used my voice a lot, and I constantly was being told to shut up, and it's not good for your self-esteem, but it's also not good for your self-advocacy skills.
I was quite shy as a child. I was really, really quiet. I was the model child almost. Turned up to school, did the homework, all that sort of stuff, but was constantly talking in class, chatting with friends sat behind or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah.
And then
In
when you
Neurocurious,
realize,
and same in our other group programs, we have like, when we're doing the sessions together, which we run on a Thursday night, and you can come live or you can watch on replay. And we have like basically what's happening on screen and the conversations, and then we have a chat. And the chat is a combination of people saying, oh yeah, me too, that's interesting, asking questions, and then lots of side conversations about ducks, gin, school shoes, you name it. And it's like this big like ADHD melting pot.
Yeah.
And people dip in and dip out as they need to. And we have some people that are super quiet, but those that need to just process in that way when they think, speak, type, in order to, there's room for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked over you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Doing things differently. How has it made a difference to you? What does it look like now that you are a Neurocurious alumna?
It started sort of probably before I did even Neurocurious. I was starting to go, you get to a certain age where you go, I'm going to stop caring what other people think. And I'd done, with my acting work, I'd done a lot of mindset work around, you know, who I was and things, but obviously never touched on the neurodiversity. So I started changing my clothes. And as you can see, you know, I mean,
the way you dress, not that before Neurocurious you never washed and never
Oh no.
You're very
my outfits, and you know,
I started changing my clothes. Excellent. Personal hygiene.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, yes, I shower. I love how we take these little.
Sorry about my tism. Right, go on.
It's fine. We all do it. But yeah, like I've always been quite gothy. Even, you know, at school I was, but then that was almost pushed out because it was against school rules to wear certain things and that sort of stuff. And then obviously you get married, you have kids, and you have to dress a certain way. You have to look like the mum at the school and all that sort of thing. And I lost who I was. And that was a way for me to get me back, was through my clothes. And I've often heard people say, you never used to dress like that. No, because I that was me hiding me. So yeah, I love, if you look at my wardrobe, well, floordrobe, as we discovered the other day. I do have a wardrobe. It's just behind all the clothes.
I opened a cupboard door this morning to look for a belt. a little cupboard that big, right? That I thought all my belts were in, and I opened it. It had one bra and a singular sock in it. There's stuff everywhere, but there's a full empty cupboard with one bra and one sock in it. So you've kind of like, your unmasking has kind of like allowed you to present differently, I guess.
And stop apologizing for who I am. That's a massive one. Oh, sorry, I talked too loud. Sorry, I spoke over you. Sorry, I didn't wait for my turn. Sorry, I'm being loud. It's that constant having to apologize for who you are, that it's like, why should I? This is me. If you don't like me,
especially when you're an overspeaker, I think people think that you're rude. People think that you're not listening, and it is literally just that. I think we're similar in this respect, where something comes into my head, and it's not even a question of whether I can stop it coming out of my mouth or not. There's just no switch. And then I literally hear things coming out of my mouth, and as they're leaving my face, I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, skip them back in.
And I felt so much shame about that for a long time. But then I realized, being around other people as well, people like you, I'm like, that's what I like in other people. I like that kind of like unfiltered, says what they think. It's not unkind, you know.
No,
it's rarely unkind.
Depends who we're talking about.
Being with people who do the same thing, and like being able to say to other people, no, it's fine, don't worry. It gives you self-compassion as well, doesn't it? It kind of like allows you to.
But it also gives that other person that validation that it's okay to be like that as well, because they've probably gone through the same thing. Often very funny.
Often very on Neurocurious, Sharon was often responsible for the side chats that just got ridiculous, sometimes filthy. Like there's no
absolutely.
Page. We're not.
If it doesn't get filthy, there's something wrong.
There was lots of like hilarious misunderstandings and silly like innuendo without being like inappropriate. But we needed that, didn't we? Because we were digging into quite big stuff together.
Yeah, and
so
I think sometimes using that humour, it's not a distraction as stuff, but it makes dealing with the heavy stuff a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think I've always dealt with stuff in a that humorous way. It's like that, you know, it's the if you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes.
So if you were going to say that there was one thing that Neurocurious gave you, I'm going to ask an ADHD to say one thing.
One thing.
Who am I kidding? But one thing that you can be like, yeah, that's what I got from that, and it was absolutely worth it for that reason. Can you put your finger on that?
There was so much. That was the thing. You know.
So no is the answer to that.
No, is the answer. No, there was just so much. You know, it was, you know, learning about who I am, setting boundaries, being able to set those boundaries, finding me again, and having that validation of finding a group of like-minded people who understood you, who get you, who just let you turn up however you want, so long as you've got clothes on.
Or if you haven't, then your camera's off.
Your camera's off. Yeah.
Because none of us need that while we're eating our tea on a Thursday.
No, I'm sure I've been on a Zoom somewhere and somebody said, I've got the camera off because I'm in the bath. And I'm like, well, fine, you do you.
Yeah.
You know.
Why not? I'll turn my microphone off.
Yeah.
I was saying the one thing that you got from Neurocurious was her, obviously.
Yes. I want to say, above all, I think it is having that community of people who understand you, who get you. You know, I've got that with my acting friends because it's surprising. You look at, you know, I look around my acting friends and I go, yeah, you're definitely ADHD. Oh yeah, you're autistic. You're both. You know, it's the creative side in us that comes out. There's a lot of neurodiversity in the creative community and that sort of thing. So I've got that, but then they're not the people who know who sort of help me understand what it is about being neurodiverse and having autism, ADHD, whatever. You know, they're there as an acting group of people. So it's really nice. It's that community. And we've carried on. There's quite a few of us that have carried on right from the beginning, haven't we? And stayed really close as a group of people.
And so we've got a cohort that did the original Unstoppable Parent, the original Neurocurious. So we're into our third intake of Unstoppable Parent. We've just finished that now. We're into our second intake of Neurocurious. We're going to run that just once this year, and then it'll run next year. And you're like you're the group that we did all of our beta testing on.
You're like the oldest child, aren't we? Really, we've set the path for everybody else following.
Yeah, dysfunctional.
Oh God,
you know that you love. That's the deal. But I think so that online community that we build on with Neurocurious, we keep those groups open. So I know because I'm still in there. The Neurocurious community is still very active, just as the Unstoppable Parent community is, and that I think is, for lots of people, that's more important than what we train in on, than the sessions that we have with our guest speakers and our guest trainers and the stuff that we do together, looking at, you know, masking and communication style and sensory differences and, you know, triggers and RSD and all of that we do together. That's kind of like the vehicle that we strap on for all of the friendships and all of the community.
Yeah, because we have become a community.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, it's more than a community. We're almost like the rules are because of us. Yeah.
Rules are, there ain't no rules.
I want to say, what rules? We broke the rules.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah.
So if someone was thinking about doing Neurocurious, what would you want to say to them?
don't have any second thoughts. Just do it. You know what I mean? If you want to know more about who you are, why you do the things that you do, and how to sort of get that out into the world without having to apologize for who you are, whether that be around friends, family, whoever, work colleagues, anything like that, and finding ways to help other people to understand that, then do it. Because that's a big thing. It's not only just being yourself. It's about going out there and helping other people to understand you. They might not understand it at all, but hopefully they'll accept it. And
it's helpful to have the vocabulary to explain what's going on to other people. And sometimes you get that by being in community with other people who are experiencing the same things.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've learned so much from other people. Yeah. And the knock-on effect then is obviously that then I can advocate for my child, which is a massive thing, because I was like a fish out of water when the wheels promptly fell off towards the 2019, 2020.
Yeah. It's having that self-confidence, isn't it, in knowing who you are and what you need, so that when things happen and they start to shake you, you're able to go, no, I know who I am, I know what I need, you're going to listen to me, and I'm going to get what my kid deserves.
Yeah.
And you need that self-understanding and that self-compassion before you can do that for your child, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's why Neurocurious exists. Thank you, Sharon. So if you're watching this, you're a friend of Sharon's, and you want to pick her brains about Neurocurious, I'm sure she's up for that. I'm just volunteering that now.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
If you're in my Otas Matters community, Sharon is in there too. If you want to pick her brains in there about Neurocurious, I don't want to just be sitting here going, oh, it's really good, you should do it. I want people who have experienced it to be able to share that with people. Sharon's got a link so that she can send it to you if you want to join up through her link. And we would love to have you in with us. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, and myself or Sharon will come back to you.
Yeah, feel free to tag me in.
Yeah, tag her. She loves all that. She likes to.
I do. Yeah. It's that validation bit. Don't reject me.
Dopamine.
Oh, please, like me.
Oh, you're a legend. I'm really, really grateful for you for being so patient with me this afternoon.
No, you're fine. It's all right. I'm still waiting for this woman turning up.
she'll be here in 3 weeks. But thank you, Sharon, and I'm really grateful for you for sharing so openly. And I say this to all of the Neurocurious people when I get a chance to speak to them. What we did with you guys in the first Neurocurious cohort is what we're building for future cohorts, and we're forever grateful, because like Elle says, you did make the rules, but you also held space for us to work out what was and wasn't working. And I am really proud of what we've made, and I'm really excited to get the new cohort in, and maybe we'll get Sharon in to come and talk to you all about as an old pro now that you are. The neurodivergent elder.
I was an elder. Yeah, old. It's not happening.
Okay, we'll call it a day. Thanks, Sharon.
Yes,
really
you're welcome.
Appreciate it, and I will speak to you soon.
Will do. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.